Minnesota Vikings are in one of the worst situations possible. Just last year in the regular season, they had a 14-3 record with Sam Darnold, and they advanced to the postseason against the Los Angeles Rams. And you look at them today, and the future with this organization is very dark. As I record this video, they're 4-8 on the year. Now, the Vikings did select J.J. McCarthy in the first round 2 years ago. And I fully get the argument. You let a young quarterback go out there, you let him fully grow, you let him develop, and over time, he should get better. But the situation with JJ is completely different from any other quarterback that we've seen selected in the first round over the last 7 to 8 years. When you compare JJ McCarthy at the college level to Michael Penix Jr., Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, even Bryce Young, and CJ, JJ came from a great situation, a great program at Michigan. You have a phenomenal head coach in Coach Harbaugh, who is very successful in the NFL with the 49ers and the same with Stanford. So we know that he can coach his tail off. A great offensive line at the college level. He barely got touched. 2 very good running backs in Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum. Blake Corum is now a running back with the Los Angeles Rams, a starting talent in the NFL. Roman Wilson, very good wide receiver at Michigan. He's now a wide receiver with the Steelers. When they went against Michael Penix Jr. in Washington in that national championship game, he only had 18 pass attempts. They ran the football down their throat. And when they stopped the run, they loaded the box. JJ worked off a play action, and he got the football to the wide receivers. And they ran a bunch of bubble screens and a bunch of slants underneath. He rarely took the top off the defense. But you have so many scouts and analysts coming out, and they're saying that there's something here with J.J. McCarthy. When you compare him to the other quarterbacks here, Drake May at UNC, they needed big-time moments from Drake May every single week. The same with Caleb Williams at USC and with his time at Oklahoma before he transferred to USC. Jaden Daniels at LSU, Heisman Trophy winner, same as Caleb Williams. Bo Nix at Auburn, he has some good moments. Goes over to Oregon, they needed big-time throws from him. They needed him to be precisely accurate underneath. They didn't need JJ to go out there and to be the guy for the entire season. For his last 2 years at the college level, they played through their defense, they played through their run game, and they worked off of play action. He was a game manager, and you don't select quarterbacks like this in the first round, especially in the top 15 when you have 2 first-round picks, and that is what the Minnesota Vikings did. They thought very highly of him. Kevin O'Connell, the head coach and the general manager with the Vikings. And this is a huge miss. I don't ever see him being a franchise quarterback in Minnesota. At best, I see him being an average starter, and that's it. He has never been asked to be the guy in his career. He missed his entire rookie season. He tore his meniscus. That is not a good sign for any player, especially a potential franchise quarterback. So his rookie year, he wasn't going to play anyway. The plan with the Vikings was to go out there, sign a bridge quarterback, sign a veteran guy. They did that with Sam Darnold, give him a 1-year deal, and then we'll roll JJ into the starting lineup. Similar to what Kansas City did with Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. It's that type of formula. But this is a huge problem. Patrick was not injured his rookie season. The same with Aaron Rodgers. They could get second-team reps. They could get those practice reps. They can work out in training camp. JJ did play in the preseason last year. He has some good moments, but it's the preseason. Most of those players, they're not going to make an active roster. But he has some good moments. But when you tear your meniscus, you can't get second-team reps. You can't get third-team reps. When you go into practice, you have the headset in your ear, tablet in your hand. If he was able to practice with some of those players, Kevin O'Connell could have easily worked on him with his accuracy and his touch and help him go against the blitz and make certain audibles at the line of scrimmage. But he wasn't able to do that. And you look at the year that Sam Darnold had last year with the Minnesota Vikings, it was phenomenal. We finally got to see him have a proper team around him and a proper head coach in Kevin O'Connell. And now you can really make the case, you could say they should have brought back Sam Darnold. And yes, they should have, but they wanted more cap flexibility to bring in more offensive linemen and to bring in more defensive talent. And the deal that Sam Darnold got with the Seahawks, it's a team-friendly deal. It's a 3-year contract, but they can move off the deal after the first year with no dead money. The Minnesota Vikings could have easily gave that to Sam Darnold, and he wanted to come back and play with Kevin O'Connell. But he goes over to Seattle. It's also important to bring this up. Sam Darnold was not just some young quarterback. He got drafted by the New York Jets in the first round. The Jets never put a proper team around him, and he had a terrible head coach in Adam Gase. Then they traded him to the Carolina Panthers, but Sam Darnold was in the league for 6 years before he came over to the Minnesota Vikings, working with the New York Jets, the same with the Carolina Panthers. He becomes the backup quarterback with the 49ers. That helped him build that relationship with Clint Kubiak, and that was crucial for Sam Darnold. He was asked to be the starter with the New York Jets. He was asked to be the starter with the Carolina Panthers. With the 49ers, you're a backup behind Brock Purdy. You can sit and you can learn, and you can work in that great system with Kyle Shanahan. And I wish more quarterbacks would go out there and do that. That year off did wonders for him. So he comes over to Minnesota, and they use Sam Darnold as a scapegoat here. And the reason why I say this, the offensive line and the interior has been terrible for many years in Minnesota. That's why they got their teeth kicked in by the New York Giants many years ago in that first playoff game with Kevin O'Connell. Their defense was terrible with Coach Ed. He was a terrible defensive coordinator. But Kirk Cousins had little to no time inside the pocket due to how bad the interior was. So you have Dexter Lawrence. He's constantly putting pressure on Kirk Cousins, who could not move around the field. And the same thing happened with Sam Darnold. But he's a better athlete than Kirk Cousins. He made a lot of plays inside and outside the pocket. In the regular season last year against the Los Angeles Rams, he played pretty well. Kevin O'Connell just got outcoached by Sean McVay. In that playoff game, he did get sacked 9 times. But a lot of that is on Kevin O'Connell. You're calling long developing routes down the field, and you see that your quarterback doesn't have time inside the pocket. He got sacked 9 times. It wasn't a good game. But they use that as an excuse. Let's move off of Sam Darnold. We couldn't win a big-time playoff game with him. You can also bring this up. Kevin O'Connell is 0-2 in the postseason. But that playoff loss was not all on Sam Darnold, even though he did have some bad moments. The offensive line deserves a lot of blame, and the same with Kevin O'Connell and his play calling. And for everyone that's saying that Kevin O'Connell is a quarterback whisperer, and I still believe that he's a very good head coach in this league. He's a very good play caller in certain situations. We'll talk about the negatives with him in a couple minutes here. But Sam Darnold, 6 years in the NFL, that's pretty much veteran status in my opinion. When he had Kirk Cousins was already a made man, was a very good starting quarterback with the then Washington Redskins, now Washington Commanders. Comes over to the Minnesota Vikings. He was a very good starting quarterback in Minnesota. Has some bad moments. But in the regular season, Kirk Cousins, you know what you get with him at that point in time. But he was in the NFL for 7 years before Kevin O'Connell became the head coach in Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell became the head coach in 2022. Kirk Cousins signed his first big-time contract with Minnesota in 2018, and Mike Zimmer was the head coach. So can we all really say that Kevin O'Connell is his quarterback whisperer? We have veteran quarterbacks that you're working with. He's getting the most out of those quarterbacks, don't get me wrong, but they have already been developed and established in the NFL. Sam Darnold's situation is a bit different, but he had reps underneath him. He came from different coaches. The reason why I bring this up, JJ has never been coached by anyone else in this league. It has only been Kevin O'Connell. And look at how bad that he looks. Kevin deserves a lot of blame for this, and the same with the general manager. So I'm not going to just come on here and say all the success that Sam Darnold had should all go to Kevin O'Connell. And the same with Kirk Cousins. Just very good players, especially with Kirk at that point in time. It goes both ways. But back to the play calling here with Kevin O'Connell. I don't think that he should be fired. I think that he is still a very good head coach, like I mentioned before. But the play calling in certain situations just doesn't make sense. When it's 3rd and 1, just run the football, go with a QB sneak. Kevin O'Connell is pass happy. He's a former quarterback in this league. He loves passing the football deep down the field. It was a situation yesterday against Seattle. You have your undrafted free agent rookie, Max, starting this game. 4th and 1. Let's throw the football to Justin Jefferson. Just run the football behind this offensive line. I know that you're down your starting offensive lineman at the tackle position and at the guard position, but just run it towards the right side. Make life easier on your quarterback. And that's the problem that I had with Kevin O'Connell in that playoff game against the Rams. More shots underneath. Take what the defense gives you if you are Sam Darnold. Condense the field. Every play doesn't need to be a deep bomb to Justin Jefferson, and the same with Jordan Addison. So in situations like that, I understand why people are upset with Kevin O'Connell. But I don't think that he should be fired right now. You just went to the postseason last year. The general manager, on the other hand, he's on the hot seat with how bad his draft has been over the last few years and how bad JJ has been this season. But back to JJ here. I don't think that he'll ever be the guy. When you're missing time with injuries, a torn meniscus, your rookie season. High ankle sprain this year, he missed a lot of time. JJ has only played 6 games in his career. 6 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 2 rushing touchdowns. It's hard to develop when you can't stay fully healthy. And you can make the case right now that he is injury prone. And he suffered a concussion against the Green Bay Packers. But you haven't seen improvement with JJ from week to week. And this is a very good system to be in. You have 2 top wide receivers, a very good receiving tight end, 2 very good running backs. The offensive line has dealt with injuries. But when the offensive line has been relatively healthy and when he does have enough time inside the pocket, you see that JJ just doesn't have a feel for the game. You had 1 good quarter against the Bears in week 1. In week 2 against the Atlanta Falcons, he was terrible. 158 passing yards, 0 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, a lot of defenders, they'll come out and they'll say the offensive line was banged up, backup tackles. What was going to happen with your young player? So you run it back. He gets injured in this game. You run it back against the Detroit Lions. He has some moments. 14-25, 143 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 interception. He got sacked 5 times. But he looked like a backup quarterback to begin the game. Has some good moments. He looked like a backup quarterback once again. Against the Baltimore Ravens, completely terrible. 20 of 42, 248 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 2 interceptions. And once again, why does he have 42 pass attempts if you are Kevin O'Connell? Just doesn't make sense. But he was terrible in this game. Against the Bears, 16 of 32, 150 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was terrible in this game. He had 1 good drive in the 4th quarter, and that was it. JJ missed Justin Jefferson a lot, and the same with Jordan Addison. And against the Green Bay Packers, just awful quarterback play all around by JJ. And he couldn't protect himself inside or outside the pocket. And he went down with a concussion, but he finished the game. He only had 87 passing yards, 12 of 19 for a full game, 0 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. This is the worst quarterback play in the NFL between him and Max. The Cleveland Browns have better quarterback play with Shedeur Sanders, with Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel looks better right now than JJ, and that's not an overreaction. He's in a worse situation, and yet they have performed better. They're not taking dumb sacks. They're not constantly overthrowing wide receivers. That is what JJ has done in Minnesota. This is his quote-unquote rookie season, but you can't go into next season with him being your only starting option. You have to bring quarterback competition in this room. I said this a week ago. I'm going to say it again. Call up Kyle Shanahan. Mac Jones has another year left on his contract after this season with the 49ers. Try to bring him in. Trade a 2nd or a 3rd round pick and bring in Mac Jones. Prototypical size, very accurate. Can move around the pocket as well. He's more so of a scarecrow inside the pocket, but you would take that right now over someone that's erratic like J.J. McCarthy, who just can't cut it right now. And Max, undrafted free agent for a reason. Had a bad game against Seattle, had those 4 interceptions, but that's the same defense that had 4 interceptions on Sam Darnold. They gave that kid little to no help yesterday. He only had a week to prepare. He should have not been in that situation if JJ was able to stay fully healthy. And if JJ has a couple of good games to end off the season, fine. Still bring in another quarterback to push him to that next level. But you can't justify the decision that the Minnesota Vikings made. You had Sam Darnold in this building. Daniel Jones was on the practice squad. And I get it. Daniel Jones was a bad quarterback with the New York Giants. He's having a couple slip-ups right now with the Indianapolis Colts. But you could have said, you know what? JJ did tear his meniscus his rookie year. Why not just have a backup quarterback just in case? Daniel, come into our building. Be our backup quarterback. You can even compete for the job with JJ. But the only option that the Minnesota Vikings have is to bring in Mac Jones. The free agent class this year for the quarterbacks are terrible. Justin Fields will be on that list. He has a 2-year deal with the New York Jets, but similar to the deal with Sam Darnold, they can cut him after the first year. There's no dead money on the contract. Justin Fields is not a franchise quarterback. You could potentially bring him in, but I don't think that he'll come in. He'll just change your fortunes that much. He may not have the same success that Sam Darnold had. But maybe with this coaching staff, he can find something here. Maybe. You could talk about drafting a quarterback in the first round, but you just did that with J.J. McCarthy. And you have other needs on this team that you could use with a first-round pick. And back to the play calling here with Kevin O'Connell for a second before I let you guys go. You have an offensive line that you've invested a lot of money and resources in general. You have Ryan Kelly at the center position. I know that he's missed time this year with a concussion. You drafted Donovan Jackson in the first round. You have Christian at the left tackle position. You have Will Fries at the right guard position. Even when this offensive line was relatively healthy, you still don't run the football. And you made the trade to bring in Jordan Mason to help take some of that load off of Aaron Jones, and you're still pass heavy. A philosophy change is needed with Kevin O'Connell. But I want to say this again. I don't think that he should be fired. You guys may disagree with that. But he's been to the postseason twice in his career. If they do fire him, immediately you're going to have a lot of teams that are going to come out. They're going to try to bring him in as a head coach. If the Vikings move on from Kevin O'Connell, I can easily see the New York Giants going out there and saying, hey, we have a quarterback in Jackson Dart. We have a weapon in Malik Neighbors. We have Cam at the running back position. When he's fully healthy, we'll bring you in. And just like that, he'll be the brand new head coach with the New York Giants. I think that you keep him around. With the general manager, he's definitely on the hot seat. But let me know in the comment section below, what should the Minnesota Vikings do long term? And do you see J.J. McCarthy being a franchise quarterback with this team? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If like video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.